Good morning. Hello, crafty friends. Welcome to Stamp and Create with Beth. I'm Beth Roy, an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. And I'm just going to pull up my video here. So if you pop in and join me this morning, say hi. Today is Friday, May 16th, 2025. And I know this is not my normal day for coffee and a card. Sorry, I had to move something from my seat. But I have some things going on tomorrow, so I decided to do it today. So I hope some of you can still join me. If not, you can always watch the replay. So if you're catching the replay, say hi. Good morning, Joan. So I have a few things on my table here. Let me adjust my camera just a tad. Let's see if that helped. I hope so. Okay, good. Sometimes it's hard to see how that's going to look on screen. So I wanted to talk today about the new in colors. So every year Stampin' Up! Brings in 5 new colors. They call them in colors because they rotate, and they're only here for 2 years. So each set of 5 colors are here for 2 years. And so these are the new in colors for 2025 to 27. And so we have another set of in colors that came out last year that are from 2024 to 2026. So every year we swap out 5 colors. And they're different from the core colors, which are our color families. So I do have all the beautiful new in colors, and I want to tell you about them, and we're going to play a little bit, okay? And we're going to make a note card today. So you can see this is from one of my favorite new suites. It's a mega suite. It has 2 bundles with it. It's called Beautiful Gallery, and it has this beautiful stamp set and fun matching dies. And I cased the catalog for this card. So in the catalog there was a card. I don't remember what it was. The texture was, but then it had a little frame that had hello, and then it had some embossing. So everything was embossed. But on this one, I used cloud cover. That's this color right here, and Secret Sea. And then I paired a fun color, one of my favorites, in with it, the Lost Lagoon. So, and this is Lost Lagoon two-tone paper. So, we now have all the colors in the two-toned paper, which is a printed cardstock. So one side's dark, one side's lighter, and I love it. It has a white core, so you can do lots of fun techniques with that. Now, I'm not going to show that today, but here is the cardstock. So our new colors are Strawberry Slush, Darling Duckling, Timid Tiger, Cloud Cover, and Secret Sea. This is like a blue-gray. It's gorgeous. I love Timid Tiger. It's, let's see, a little, what word do I want to use? It's not as bright as Pumpkin Pie, so it's a little more subdued, but it's a beautiful orange. Good morning, Christy. Thanks for joining us. The Darling Duckling, I am not a yellow person, so I don't typically pick yellows. And I thought, I'm not going to get that one. But I changed my mind because I like to give everything a chance. And this yellow is really unique. It has kind of a green undertone. I don't know how to describe that because it's kind of odd to me, but I love it. So when you see it paired with different greens, it looks very different. Now, let me just tell you about these. Let me pull, so you can get all the Stampin' Right markers. That's these, okay? You can get a 5-pack of these. in my online store. These are not in the catalog anymore, but it is the same ink that's in our ink pads, okay? So you can get those, and then you can get the ink pads. Now, here is Secret Sea, the Darling Duckling, Timid Tiger, and the Strawberry Slush. And I love this Strawberry Slush. It just reminds me of summer. It's such a fun color. I did order one of these. Demonstrators were able to order this pad. But let me tell you about it, okay? Because customers aren't going to be able to get it. And here's why. I'm going to show you this piece. So I did a little testing here, and you can see the difference. Stampin' Up! Sold it to demonstrators as is. So when they made our ink formula for this cloud cover color, it reacted with the foam that they use in our ink pads. So the color wasn't stable. It wouldn't stay the color they intended it to be. So it looks a little more gray, but I kind of like it. So I was able to buy one of those, but this is what customers can do. So I have a little spot here, and I have the ink refill. So the ink formula was fine. It's just, it reacted with our foam that's inside our big pads. But we have these Stampin' spots, and these are like a felt. So this is not the same foam that we have inside these pads. So you can buy a pack of these. They come in a pack of 5. And you can buy an ink refill and load this. And that's what you can do as a customer to have this color ink pad, which I like this size. So I do recommend that. I have recommended that in the past. If you don't have room for big ink pads, you can buy a set. These come in a set of 5, and you could buy 5 ink refills of whatever colors you want and make your own. There is, somewhere I have a catalog, there is a small ink assortment of the spots, not cubes. I'm sorry, they are not cubes. They are called spots. Let me see if I can find them quickly. I know they're somewhere in the beginning here. There they are. So there's this assortment that has cloud cover in it, and then there's this assortment. So you can get these and have a good variety of inks, couple different greens. This has basic gray. This has early espresso, so there's a couple neutrals. This is Darling Duck, the Darling Duckling. So, and this is the cloud cover. So you could get 2 small spots. Or you could buy the set of 5 and do the ink refills of the new in colors and just have some smaller spots of them. So I used my blending brush and I pulled ink off of this, and that's this right here. Then I used the ink pad and I pulled this. So you can see where this has a little more gray tone. And then this is the Stampin' Right marker. It looks a little more blue when I use the brush tip end. And then this is stamping. I just used a stamp and I inked it up with this. And so that's the difference. So I love this. I like this color. It's really, really nice. So, and then we have all the blends. And let me show you my blends sheet somewhere. Added my colors here, so you can see how this colors. This is a really, really dark blue. I love the tone of it. It is very different from our other blues. Here's Night of Navy. Here's Misty Moonlight. Misty Moonlight does not look like the ink pad, so very different formulas there. These are alcohol formulas, so very different from our water-based inks, but I love it. And so here you can see that yellow. Here's Wild Wheat, okay? Lemon Lolly, so you can see the difference in that yellow. And then here's Daffodil Delight, which is a brighter yellow. So this is a little like a subdued, I'm going to use the color my other demonstrator friend used for some of these colors is Moody, and I thought that was a great description, a great word. So, but I love this. So I want to share with you some colors that I did. So this one, I used blending brushes, okay, like this. And I didn't have this ink when I did this, but I used blending brushes, and I used the masks for the layers of beauty. So this was Darling Duckling, and I did it just 3 times with Shaded Spruce. So I love this color combo. Now this one over here, I think might be my new favorite thing. I saw someone else say that they used Lost Lagoon and Secret Sea on leaves. So I had to give it a go. So this is Timid Tiger, all 3 masks. So you can mix and match colors, or you can use the same color 3 times, and you can see you're going to get very different results as you keep layering those colors. And then I used Lost Lagoon and Secret Sea. And isn't that cool? I love it. This is my new favorite thing. So, and then here I've been playing with the blends. So we do have the blends in all 5 colors. So we have the Strawberry Slush, the Timid Tiger, the Darling Duckling, Cloud Cover, and Secret Sea. And I used it with this is my favorite suite, Gallery Blooms. I love these floral images. Now this is the other one that comes in the suite. I did not get the matching dies with this. They make like a partial cut. They're really neat looking, but sometimes I have to decide if I'm going to really use something, and so I decided not to get those. But this you can get these both as bundles, and I love all the greetings. I love this set, and this is the little texture that I stamped. So I want to show you this real quick. I use this in my class, and I love this. So this set has dies that cut all the florals, and then it has some cool standalone dies, and this is one of them. So it cuts 3 pieces. It cuts 2 frames and a middle, and you could do a lot of fun techniques with this. I am going to show you more on that. Not today. We're not going to do anything complex today. But I did want to show you these. So I am excited. There's a technique that you can do with that, and it's really cool. So let's make a card. I pulled out my note cards. You know, I love these. They're still in the catalog. We only have basic white, but that's okay. These are great. So if you're a beginner, if you're avid creator, it doesn't matter. These come in a pack of 20, and they're pre-scored. They're thick, basic white, and they have envelopes. So I love making a smaller card. So what do you guys think about the new in colors? I'm just going to crease my card while I'm waiting for a few comments to see who's with me, who's ready to craft. And I'm going to tell you about these colors that I used with the in colors. So, I used, on this one, I used Cloud Cover and Secret Sea, and I also used the Secret Sea on the leaves, and then I realized I colored this part here and it wasn't meant to be, but that's okay. We're going to leave it as is. And I used Lost Lagoon. So I love this color combo together. Let me pull it up so you can see it. Isn't that pretty? I love it. And I really think you can mix and match a lot of things with this. So over here, I used the Strawberry Slush blend with Lemon Lime Twist. And I love, love, love the brightness of this. And I'm sure this color would look different if you used Old Olive. It would kind of tone down that brightness. But if you like bright colors, I wanted to give it a go. This one is Timid Tiger. And I used a Natural Tones, I think it's 300. Let me just have a little peek here. Yeah, 300. So this is the medium deep combo. This is in the medium deep combo. So we have what is called Natural Tones Blends. Those colors are not in any of our color families. They are independent browns and some peachy colors that can be used for skin tones and hair, and they're just fun colors. I like them. You knew I would love cloud cover. Of course, Joan. It's right up my alley, isn't it? So I use that, and I think this flower is, it reminds me of a peony, so I think that's what it is. This is the other flower in the set that I really love. I'm not sure, that kind of looks like a rose, but I'm not sure. So I don't know what all of them are. I haven't tried all of them yet, but I do love the two largest images. This one is the Darling Duckling with Old Olive. Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot to tell you the green. This is Granny Apple Green over here. And I think on all of my flowers up here, I think this is actually a leaf, and I colored it as a petal, so I tried to fix it down here. You know, sometimes you're coloring and you're just not really sure, and that's okay. So this is the Darling Duckling, and I used the Natural Tones Medium, the 500, and I used the Natural Tones 300, which is medium deep. They come in combos, and they're numbered for the Natural Tones blends. But I did that, and I like that look. So look how different. Now, again, this is different media. This is sponging from the ink pad, but this is with shaded spruce. And then look at my blends with the Old Olive. So I think this yellow is really going to play to different tones when you use different tones for the inks, or I mean the greens. There we have it. So now I didn't use Secret Sea a lot. I used it kind of as an accent up here, but it's this really, really dark blue, and I really like it. So I'm going to play with it more. I just didn't want my flowers to be that color. So what do y'all think? Anything jumping out as your favorite? I'm going to move some things out of the way here so I can start creating. Now, if you want to use blends, you can do that directly on this note card, but it will bleed through. So I've brought in a piece of thick basic white to trim down for the front. Now these, I'm going to start playing. This is Smoky Slate, this is Crumb Cake, and this is Gray Granite. So we can stamp the outline however you like, but you'll notice when you look at these starting points, it kind of changes the feel of your flowers. So, where'd my other sheet go? These were all in Smoky Slate. So we can choose which color to start with. I was just testing some different ones here. This is the Gray Granite flowers that I stamped and colored and cut out. And I did the same tones I did here. So this is Cloud Cover, Secret Sea, and the Lost Lagoon. So you can see it changes kind of the feel of your flower. So think about that. You can use any of the classic ink pads with your Stampin' Blends, okay? So let's cut this down and we're going to get started. We're going to pick a flower to stamp and we're going to make a pretty simple card. I just kind of wanted to show you these beautiful new colors and play with them a little bit. So our note cards are 3.5 by 5 when they're folded. This is the smallest size that you can mail here in the US. So just so you know, these are mailable. Sometimes we have cards like the Memory and More cards that are a little bit smaller. They're meant to be hand delivered. So I'm going to cut a layer here. Now you could really layer this up. You could do a die cut that fits the note card or whatever you want. I'm just going to keep it really simple today. So I'm going to cut this to 3. Actually, let's do this way. I'm going to do 4 3/4. Actually, I think this is, oh, it looks like it's already that size. Let me cut. It just needs a little bit trimmed off here. 4 3/4 by 3 1/4. And that's going to fit right on the front of my card, like that. So you could make it smaller and make a mat. I'm just making a layer that I can color with my blend so it doesn't go through. Okay. And let me show you a little trick here. When you cut your paper, you sometimes get this ridge. I'm going to take my bone folder and just smooth that back out. It's just something that happens because the trimmer's cutting and it's going along an edge there. So I'm going to do this. Okay. And we're just going to make it really simple. Joan, you were unsure of the Darling Duckling. That's going to be like a tongue twister. That's a tongue twister name. And I'm sorry, I just realized I don't have my sheet on here. So is everybody okay? I know my light creates a glare. Can you guys see okay? If not, I will grab my sheet from behind me. I think I see some thumbs up. Okay. As long as you guys can see. I'm trying to figure out which flower I want. I haven't used this one. So I'm thinking I'm just going to stamp a little something. We can do the big flower too. But maybe a little something in the corner and then just a greeting. I love these greetings. Just to know, it's my favorite. Hello. We could make a thinking of you card. I just had to go to a graduation last night, my first one. But this week is a week full of graduations. So, I do have lots of graduation cards to make. I do have some already on hand too. But there's this really fills up the space. And then you can put your little greeting here. Hello would fit. I think thinking of you would probably still fit. We could stamp it right over that stem. So what do you guys think? You want the big flower or just the little corner flower? So these are pretty good size. So on the front here, it says images at 90%. That lets you know that they're not true to size, that the stamp is actually a little bit bigger than that printed image. So you'll see that when something has a lot of stamps, or maybe they're very large stamps and it doesn't fit, it'll tell you the percentage here on the case, and it will also say that if it's online as well. So you can see it's a little bit bigger. What do you think? You want to do this one? Okay, give me a thumbs up for the peony if you want to do the peony. And I'm not going to need my ink, all the ink pads over here. Let me stick these back. Give myself some room here. And we don't have to use all the colors. I'm really liking that moody flower, as my friend called it, with the cloud cover and the Secret Sea and the Lost Lagoon. I love those tones together. We could try it with a different green. So Lost Lagoon is kind of a blue-green. And I love it. Okay, so let me get a block here. And I'm going to ink this in Smoky Slate. So again, you could use whatever neutral you want. You can also use Memento, the Tuxedo Black, if you want a black outline. I like to use a softer outline. What are our school colors? Well, I have kids graduating from all different schools. We have orange and black, we have red and black, we have blue and red, we have 8 schools, and then one that's, let's see, our county has 4, I think, and so lots of different colors. One of the schools, a lot of them have blue. The other school I'm doing is blue and white. But I've decided I'm just going to make some fun cards and not use all the school colors. The one I used last night was the corner fold card I made with the airplane. So it had nothing to do with school colors, but I was going to. I just changed my mind. But that is a great way, is to just use school colors on the graduation cards. But sometimes I'd like to just make them personal. So even if I did this and I put Celebrate on the front, this could be a grad card that I could tuck a little gift card or money into. And it could just be a pretty card. So it really just kind of depends. I've done it both ways. I feel like every year we have at least 2 or 3 graduations between family and friends. So lots of grad cards needed at my house. And I like to just kind of do outside the box. So, all right, let's see. What colors do we want to play with? Let me bring these back in. And when I stamp with Secret C, I've been using my Versamark to try to help my photopolymer stamps from staining. But I'll probably just end up staining them anyway. So, excuse me. So let's see where do we want to go with this card? Now we could easily bring in something I didn't do on these. I just used a single color, but something we could do would be to bring in like the peach pie, which is the in color, the 24 to 26 in color. It's a beautiful orange, so you could mix and match oranges. I have used those together with the classic inks on the Layers of Beauty and sponged it. So it's gorgeous. So we could try that and kind of mix and match a little bit. You have a craft store that sells all your school DSPs. Oh, that is awesome. We have a lot of schools here. But that would be really cool. That would be really cool. And that would be neat to use for graduations cards too, or just anything. Okay, so let's vote. Let's vote. Do you guys want to do, I'm just going to pick a couple. Do you guys want to do this flower with the cloud cover? So let's do number 1, this color scheme. Or do you want to do number 2? Do you want to do an orange? And this is Granny Apple Green for the leaf color. And you can see it changes, it does change the mood of your card. So let's do this as, did I say number 1? Number 1 for this, number 2. Or peonies are normally bright. I don't know if there is a yellow. I know there's lots of pinks. So let's just narrow it down to 2. Or what do you think? Are you guys good with that? I know there's not too many people watching live. Ooh, yeah, scrapbooking. I really, really need to start thinking more about scrapbooking. I really want to get back into it, but I just always find myself drawn towards the cards. So I've got to make myself do that. All right, let's do the orange. And I'm going to pull in, I want to try it with this peach pie. So I want to try the Timid Tiger with the peach pie. I think they're going to go great together. So let me move these off. I need some space here. Do we want to do the Granny Apple Green? So there's Granny Apple Green. This will be a nice, fun card. And I mean, this card would be great for any occasion. It could be a thank you. It could be a birthday. I think it could go well as a thinking of you. Yeah, I think it could go for just about anything. Aw, I'm sorry scrapbooking is stressful for you. Yeah, I need to think of some scrapbooking things. We need to get back into it and make it easy. I need to do something and make it easy for Joan so that you'll feel inspired to keep it simple. All right, so let's color this, and then we'll finish up our card. So let me grab a scrap here. Well, I don't have my scraps over here. See if I can find one. Well, I'll just use this piece that I cut earlier. So here is our Timid Tiger. This is the dark. Oh, look at that beautiful orange. I'm going to show it. Now this is blends. Remember, the blends colors are a little bit different than our ink pad. So that's the light. And then here's the peach pie. So I think those would go well together. Now let me show you pumpkin pie just in case, so you can kind of see the differences here. So this is pumpkin pie. So see, this is a little bit brighter. And then that's the light pumpkin pie. So you can kind of see the difference here with those. So this is Timid Tiger, peach pie, and this is pumpkin pie. You're thinking about the kits? Yeah, you know, I saw a video on the kits, and Joan, you can probably go back. I don't know if it's still available, but you might be able to go back and see it on our Facebook page for demonstrators. It was really helpful, okay, as to these kits were developed from close to my heart, and they have cutting guides, and they're amazing. So I think I'm going to do a video on one of them, because now that I kind of understand it more, and I've seen the explanation, I like it. My tip's messed up on this one. So this is the Granny Apple Green. Okay. I love this. This is a bright, really fresh green. This reminds me of spring, this green. So what do you think? You ready to jump in? I'm going to try to use these colors together on my flower. You don't have to get really elaborate. I'm just going to kind of start, maybe I'll do the dark peach pie. Actually, I'm going to do that one last. I'm going to start with the dark Timid Tiger, and I'm just going to put a little color on here and there. I'm not trying to do anything perfect. I just, want some darker spots, and I tend to scribble. That's the beauty of the Stampin' Blends. is you can make them smoothed out where the Stampin' Right just dries and they don't blend at all. So now if you were really doing this as a realism or art, you would do each petal. And I'm not really doing that, so I just want to make a quick card. I still want it to be pretty. So I'm just kind of going over where I put the dark and maybe going a little bit further. And I don't know if there's an orange peony or not, but we took some creative freedoms here and we're making it the color we want. Now, you don't have to use both the light and the dark, so just have some fun with it. I'm going to use the dark and I'm going to go over everywhere that I put the colors. And we'll see if we like what happens here. I want to make sure I have enough color on here that it blends and it smooths out where I just plopped on those colors. So I didn't use the light peach pie, but you could if you wanted some of your edges to be a little lighter. You could come back in and use that. Along the top, and it will lighten it a little bit. Oh, it does have orange. Thanks, Joan. I'm not sure if I've ever seen an orange. I know I've seen light pinks. I've definitely seen the burgundy and the beautiful deep pinks, but I'm not sure if I've ever seen orange. So either way, I love this color. So I'm going to do a little bit right here. I'm adding just a little bit of that light peach pie. Now let's add our green. Now I'm just using the light and the dark of the green. Like I said, I'm not trying to go for a real flower. You certainly could. Oh, I did that again. I colored this, which I think is supposed to be a leaf. So sometimes it's hard to tell with a stamped image, so just go with it. Now this is the stem. Oops. For this flower, and this is the stem for this one. That's where I made my mistake before. Ooh, one that would be really pretty. So if you were going to do that color, Jen, what do you think? Just use peach pie and maybe the light pumpkin pie if you wanted a sherbet colored peony. So that was the dark Granny Apple Green, and this is the light. Like I said, I'm gonna try to push out this orange right here because I forgot that was in my eye, probably a leaf. I think my marker is getting a tad dry, but that's okay. I went out of the lines there. I'll clean that up in a second. Sometimes I get a heavy hand. And you can always go back and touch anything up. Let me grab my color lifter here. I think this one's wet enough. So I'm just gonna come in and I'm gonna push that green back toward my leaf. And you just wanna do a little bit at a time. And it doesn't actually lift it. It doesn't come up on the tip of the marker. It actually pushes it through the paper. See where it kind of pushed that through? And you can see where the orange was, and I pushed it through with the green color. Now, I made that really wet, so I'm gonna let it dry for a second. What do you think? I love it. So what do we want to stamp as the greeting? I'm going to keep this very simple. You could use, here's something I do if you want to kind of ground your images. I like to take, this is light smoky slate, and just add a little bit there. You don't have to do that. It's up to you. And then I take my color lifter and I just smooth the edges. Now, if you have a super light color, which we don't, this is the lightest Stampin' Blends we have, you could just do a real light gray there. You could do the shape of the petals if you wanted to look a little more real. I'm just adding a little there, okay? And then let it dry. So if you want to come back in after this is dry, it's still a little wet, but you can dab some color back on to your leaf so it doesn't look all fuzzy, okay? So what do you think? Should we make it just a note? We're gonna stamp it down here. So I have a few things out. I have Thinking of You. Let's see. Just a Note is somewhere. It's on this block. So I have Just a Note. Thank You for Everything. Hello. You can see what I've been using a ton. Ooh, Peach Pie and Petal Pink. Oh, that would be pretty together. I'm going to have to try to layer those. Write that down. Where'd my pencil go? I'm going to make a little note of that. Peach Pie. Petal Pink. Okay. So let's see. Let's do Just a Note because that can be a lot of different cards. You could make it into a birthday card or whatever. And let's see. Let's stamp it. Oh, you know what? Let me do the middles here. I'm going to take that medium deep number 300 from the Natural Tones, and I'm going to dot in some of the flower middles. So you see dots already there from the stamp. So I'm just doing a few. There we go. Finish up my thing. So we need to stamp just a note, and I need to know what color do I want to stamp. So we could do the gray, we could do the smoky slate, we could do a brown. Greeny Apple Green is quite bright for ink, and I think Timid Tiger might get lost. You guys trust me? I like to use my neutrals, so you could use Smoky Slate or Basic Gray, but I'm just going to grab Smoky Slate. So, and I'm just going to ink that up. So I'm just, if you're new to stamping, I've opened my ink pad and I'm just tapping. These are foam, so if you squish it down, it's going to bubble up and it's going to get all over the edge of your stamp, and you don't want that. You just want to tap lightly to pick up some ink. And then we're just going to go in here. I can't see, my light's kind of blinding me, but we're just going to go with it. Just a note. And you just put the stamp straight down and pick it straight back up. Isn't that pretty? A nice, pretty simple card. Now you can adhere it flat, or you can step it up a little bit by using some dimensionals. So I'm going to pop mine up a little bit. There we go. You like the dark? So if all you have is like a brown neutral, that would work well with this too. So I try not to overthink it too much. Use what you have and get creative with the colors you have. And if you want to add any of these new in colors, you can get the blends, you can get the ink pads. Now remember, the cloud cover will just have a spot, and you can't buy it just the spot. You can either buy it in the assortment set, or you can buy the uninked spots and the re-inker and make your own. We have them in the Stampin' Right markers. Now, if you have red rubber stamps, you can ink them with the brush tip of the Stampin' Right marker, but the photopolymer stamps do not ink as well with the Stampin' Right markers. So there's lots of options. If you need help figuring out what you need or what you can do, just always message me and I'm happy to help you. We also have all the cardstocks and all the two-tones. So I don't have any of the two-tones. They're on their way. They'll be here next week. But I'm really excited to play with those and that white core paper. So here we go. You can also find the sets of note cards in my store. Just search Basic White and they'll come up. I love it. So if you need anything, hop over to bethroy.stampinup.net and check out what we have. And let me know if you have questions. Thanks, guys, for hanging out with me today, or gals, for hanging out with me today and testing out some of the new in colors and letting me share with you the excitement of these. I love them. This might be my new favorite orange. And enjoy. I hope you get some crafty time today, and I'll see you soon. Take care. Bye.